Good morning, and welcome to the Morning Report. My name is Willie Lawson. I trust that you are well this glorious morning. It is Monday, March 6th. It's a beautiful 78 degrees here. It quarter to 11 on in West Central Florida. Again, I hope that you are well. Let me move the microphone to make a little noise. Sorry. All right. Well, what is it that we're going to bash around today? I believe that I have a new listener, new viewer that I picked up at the barbershop um, on Saturday. Saturday, yeah, it was Saturday, and I want to. Microphone fell over. I told you I was trying to move it. Let me see if I could make it better here. A Meteor, Samsung Meteor, um, and I feel like I've always taken a position of I don't know rationalist, reasonableness. But that's obviously a subjective term. So today we're going to talk about 60 Minutes, the show, which amazingly is still on, and who knows why that show is still on. Their attempt to sort of walk back doubts they cast over COVID being a leak from the Wuhan Institute of Virology. Now, I remember when we used to say that kind of stuff, and then this YouTube video would be like immediately. Remember? My account would be like, "Oh, I'm the trash." Remember? Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit, or try to anyway. Um, as much as I tried to get y'all to not focus on the 2024 presidential election, y'all just can't. Y'all just can't on anything else. But more and more people, more and more potential candidates are saying, nah, nah, nah. It's going to be a cluster. I'm not going to worry about that, which is not a good thing. We're going to talk about that too. And whatever else sort of crosses my mind in the meantime. Again, thank you for coming to the Morning Report. My name is Willie Lawson. Please, please, please comment down in the comment section. Like, share, subscribe. We appreciate everything. Again, it's free. We ain't ask for no money. We're just asking for a little of your time. All right, we'll be back right after these messages. So is it okay now, because it was, I mean, during the Trump administration, it is okay to talk about the president's
Yeah. We talked about mental health elderly, so let's talk about this guy mental health.
the president's mental acuity, because there's sometimes where it seems to be lacking. Have you seen?
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes it's especially bad. I mean, I'm talking about sometimes it's like really bad. Like, have you seen the picture?
I was told not to take any questions.
I was told not to take any questions. They told they're going to be mad at me.
They're going to be mad at me.
Mr.
President, are you the president, or were you five?
You see what I want. See, the next question is, excuse me,
I was told to call on what you call for NBC. Who's telling you to call on?
That's the question that we ought to be asking. Who's telling you this?
I mean, I don't understand why nobody won't ask that question.
Is Jen Psaki actually the president?
Who's telling you to call on these people in the media?
Is Jen Psaki actually the president?
Probably so.
You know, 60 Minutes used to be the thing. I mean, we thought that we could trust 60 Minutes, right? They were credible journalism. Mike Wallace would go out and put a microphone in some dude's face. So we caught you peeing in chocolate. What do you got to say? Remember? That's the last thing, knock on the door. Hi, I'm Mike Wallace, 60 Minutes. You're screwed. Remember? We were like, yeah, get him, Mike. Not really the case anymore. They attempted to clear the air about the origins of COVID-19 after a year of declaring the lab leak theory as being debunked. Because what we were supposed to believe that COVID came from some dude eating a bat at a wet market. We learned about wet markets. We had to be educated about what a wet market is, and that some dude ate a bat, and then the world, and then half the world died. But after FBI Director Christopher Wray agreed to the bombshell report by the Washington Street Journal, revealing that the United States Department of Energy concluded the Department of Energy concluded that COVID most likely arose from a laboratory leak. 60 Minutes is kind of like walking back their previous comments about the matter. In May of 2020, CBS News' Scott Pelley, who does the evening news, did you know that? God, I didn't know, because I don't watch that crap either. Cast significant doubt over the Trump administration's assertion that the virus was leaked from a lab in Wuhan, China, saying both the White House and the Chinese Communist Party have been less than honest. Alternatively, Pelley pushed the idea that the virus emerged from a wet market. Some dude ate a bat, and half the world died. With Peter Daszak, the president of the group EcoHealth Alliance, confirming this theory. Here's what Daszak said: there is zero evidence that the virus came out of a lab in China. Okay. Does the Wuhan Institute of Virology, to your knowledge, have this virus in its inventory? Pelley asked. No, Daszak firmly responded. The closest known relative is one that is different enough, but is not SARS-CoV-2. So there's just no evidence that anybody had it in a lab anywhere in the world before the outbreak. So this guy wanted us to believe that some guy ate a bat and then half the world died. At the time, EcoHealth Alliance was receiving government funding from the National Institute of Health and has worked with the Wuhan Institute of Virology. Daszak, an anti-believer in the lab leak theory, praised the company's work as being critical. Pelley criticized the Trump administration for suspending the EcoHealth funding, claiming that it was because of a political disinformation campaign targeting China's Wuhan Institute. As the U.S. led the world in illness and death, the Trump White House moved the focus to the Chinese government. Pelley told viewers then, last Sunday, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo attempted to resurrect a debunked theory that the virus was man-made in China. However, the administration has offered no evidence of an accidental or genetic engineering. This is what Pelley says. But in March of 2021, Daszak continued to put down the lab leak theory, saying that it's extremely unlikely. Now, before it was like, there's no way in hell, can't happen. And now, a year later, Daszak says in 2021, it's extremely unlikely. But wait a minute, you said that that they didn't have it in their inventory, so there was no way. But now it's extremely unlikely. Listen to the words that comes out of people's mouths. The best part is that they usually tell you. If we're willing to listen. If we turn off our response mechanism and actually listen to what people are saying. However, Jamie Metzel, a former Clinton administration official and an advisor to the World Health Organization, put Daszak's claim to bed, saying the virus did come from the Wuhan lab, criticizing him for defending China. So we got somebody who worked with the WHO, an advisor to the who said, "Shut up, dude, you're wrong. Came from China, came from the lab." What else can we do? Daszak pushed back after Stahl didn't question the theory. There's a limit to what you can do and what we We went right up to that limit. We asked them tough questions. They weren't vetted in advance, and the answers they gave we found to be believable, correct, and convincing. But weren't the Chinese engaged in a cover-up, Stahl asked? They destroyed evidence. They punished scientists trying to give evidence on the question of the origin. Well, that wasn't a task to find out they're trying to cover up the original issue. We didn't see any evidence of false reporting, and this is the excuse that Daszak is saying. Well, we didn't know if they were covering up. No. So, or to make sure they weren't telling the truth and nothing but the truth, Stahl responded. You sit in a room, Daszak says this, you sit in a room with people who are scientists, and you know what a scientific statement is, and you know what a political statement is. We had no problem distinguishing between the two. Now 60 Minutes is trying to walk all that back. What they should say is, 60 Minutes, we were but wrong. We pushed an agenda that was incorrect, and we apologize. They should do. But they won't. They won't. Because none of these systems self-indict. They do not. They never say mea culpa. They never say, golly, we messed that up. We were wrong. They can say we were lied to. They can say we were misled. And we pushed the wrong message. And we're sorry. But they won't. They won't. YouTube, because y'all are watching this, same thing. Twitter, same thing. Facebook, same thing. Suspending people's account, demonetizing their channels, or even suggesting, giving people strikes, or even suggesting that this was some sort of lab leak. And not some dude ate a bat and half the world died. You should be ashamed of yourselves. You're not. You ain't. And I still might get another strike. And this may be the last morning report on YouTube that you see for a while. It may be. But I'm not wrong. And YouTube, because you're watching, you know I'm not wrong. We'll be back right after this message. Well, everybody, my name is Willie Lawson, and you guys know that I do a lot of stuff on the internet, and you may think with what's happening on Twitter and what's happening on Facebook and what happened to Parler that the mainstream social media sources are really trying to rid themselves of conservative voices, and you'd be right. They most certainly are. But you know what? It isn't as bad as you think it is. It's worse. But there are people who are willing to be platformed for free speech. One of those one of those places is freedomforum.website. Freedomforum.website. You can go there and speak your mind. So come join us. Enjoy the freedom. Enjoy the fun. If you are a true blue conservative, small businesses are near and dear to your heart. They are the lifeblood of our life and economy. I believe this, and that's why my florist is not a website or phone number. My florist is Blooming Days Flower Shop, Tampa's premier flower shop. At 11618 North Florida Avenue here in Tampa, Florida, and at 6835 State Road 54 in Newport Richey. Call Christine at 813-933-1942 and at 727-232-6900. She can also be reached on the web at www.bloomingdays.com. One of the things that I get asked most is where can I get information that is not tainted with liberal bias, especially here in the Tampa Bay area. Well, now I have the answer. tbctampa.com, a website by and for Tampa area conservatives. Tampa's leading conservative voices speak freely at tbctampa.com, and you can too. So join the fun and enjoy the freedom at tbctampa.com. My name is Willie Lawson, and this is the Morning Report. All right, so one of the questions I get asked a lot is, so you think, first of all, you think Trump's going to run in 2024? And I told y'all what I thought. My answer was always, golly, I hope not. Because I really think that Trump should have decided to be a kingmaker instead of trying to be king again. I think he would have been a lot more effective. I think he could still be a lot more effective from the sidelines than from the White House. But that's just me. And I have come face to face with a lot of Republicans who have looked at me like I was some sort of heretic suddenly, which is part of the problem. But one of our political dynamics is whether the presidential sweepstakes in 23-24 will mirror what happened in 15 and 16. Now, 2 cycles ago, there was at one point 10 or 12 Republicans vying for the nomination, and it was truly a battle royale. I mean, who was in this thing? It's such a long time ago, it's hard to remember. Chris Christie, Marco Rubio, Ben Carson, Mitt Romney, Mike Huckabee, Ted Cruz, Rand Paul. I mean, it was, and of course Donald Trump, a battle royale. And when it was all said and done, the only person standing in the last 2 people standing in the ring were Marco Rubio and Donald Trump. And eventually, the 6'4" Donald Trump, I think he's 6'4", picked up the 5'9", 5'10". And I know Marco's taller than I am because I've stood next to him. picked him up and threw him over the top rope, and he was the only dude standing. That's what happened. Now, there were at one point 17 major candidates. With the news cycle already underway, unfortunately, a familiar scenario is rearing its head. Donald Trump enjoys a plurality of national support among Republican voters, even even as majorities of right-wing aligned tell pollsters they prefer to see someone else as the nominee. Once again, it stands to reason that more Republicans who jump into the race, the more Trump is likely to benefit. His grip on 30 to 40% of the primary electorate could well be sufficient enough to pull off a 2016 repeat. Could have. We've seen some analyses arguing that the 2024 election ultimately won't resemble what happened 8 years prior because it has been lessons learned. No one will underestimate Trump this round, for instance. That's very true. And candidates may strategically drop out sooner if there's not a real chance to actually win. But we think about the larger field is better for Trump. The more people in, the better it is for Trump. I mean, because everybody else gets divided. So if Trump can hold on to 30% or 40%, then the 60% is divided up amongst the 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 other people, which give them no practical track to win. But this is interesting. But over recent weeks, there's been an early winnowing with a slew of rumored contenders taking themselves out of the mix. Several United States senators are taking a pass, including Tom Cotton, Josh Hawley, Rand Paul, Ted Cruz. Rick Scott is also out training his focus on re-election in Florida, while buzz around Marco Rubio and Joni Ernst seems to have subsided. It's entirely possible that zero senators take the plunge this time. Although Tim Scott of South Carolina is actively testing the waters, I think that Tim is going to be out soon. Over the weekend, former Maryland Governor Larry Hogan announced, not this time. All specifically citing aforementioned crowded fields and the calculus as the reason why declining to run. So far, it's only Donald Trump, Nikki Haley, and Vivek Ramaswamy, who cannot be president because I cannot pronounce his damn name. Mike Pence may run. Mike Pompeo very much appears to be moving in that direction, but still hasn't pulled the trigger. One GOP insider said that he seemed to be in a holding pattern right now. Ron DeSantis is waiting in the wings, of course, increasingly expect to join the fray later this spring. I don't know if he will or not, frankly. We'll see after Florida's legislative session ends. So who else remains in the discussion? Chris Christie. Chris Christie guarantees that Trump gets a larger percentage of the Republican vote than before. Chris Christie is under the impression somehow that he is more popular than Donald Trump, but he is not in the Republican Party. Chris Christie entering the race for the Republican nomination would almost guarantee, without Ron DeSantis, guarantee Trump winning the nomination. Because Chris Christie would be the Lincoln Project nominee. The Lincoln Project has this sense that they are popular Republicans. They are not. We have had this discussion before here on Morning Report. We've had this discussion before. The Lincoln Project folks, the Mitt Romneys and the Liz Cheney's of the world, or the out of power side of the party. And we're seeing that the Clintons in the Democrat, just like the Clintons are on the Democrat Party, are on the outside looking in. I think the Clintons are still dangerous. Hillary is still dangerous. But as far as policy and leading the party, they're on the outside. The Obama, it is still the Obama era Democrat Party. Just like for years, the Kennedy wing of the Democrat Party has been on the outs in the very, very same way. In the Republican Party, the Bush wing is out of power. Eisenhower wing is out of power. And right now, it is the Trump wing of the Republican Party that is ascendant. It's not the Mitt Romney, Chris Christie, Lincoln Project wing of the party, George Bush. They are out of favor. So right now, it's still the Trump party. And we can shake our heads and put our hands in our heads if we want to. We could stomp around. We could curse and we could scream if we want to. Things are what they are. And the only real challenger to Trump is Ron DeSantis. Only real, I'm going to say it here on Morning Report, because I want you to get this. The only real challenger to Donald Trump for the Republican nomination for president is Ron DeSantis. If Ron decides not to do it, Trump will be your nominee. Nikki Haley, I like Nikki Haley. That Vivek Ramaswamy, no way. Mike Pence, because the Trump wing of the party hates Mike Pence. They shouldn't. They should not. Mike Pence didn't do anything wrong. That's the kind of statement that gets me in trouble with the Trump wing. Mike Pence didn't do anything wrong. Mike Pence did exactly what he was supposed to do, part of the Constitution. But there is no hope. There's nothing connected to Chris Christie. Zero. The only person that has an ice cube's chance in hell in dethroning Donald Trump for the nomination of president for the Republican Party is Ron DeSantis. He's the only one. Take that to the bank. Until we see you again, go out there and learn something. I love somebody learn something, and for goodness sakes, y'all take care of yourself. My name is William Lawson. This has been the Morning Report. We will see you when we see you. Bye-bye now.